The clock is ticking and tensions are escalating to levels the world hasn't seen in decades. This isn't just another geopolitical conflict. Iran, already on the edge, now has missiles capable of obliterating U.S. bases in Israel. But here's where it gets even more chilling. The countdown to an all-out war is already happening. Why is Israel, which once thought it had everything under control, suddenly in full panic mode? They thought the window to strike had closed, but now it's about to open again. Scott Ritter, a former U.S. military intelligence officer, warns that the world is on the verge of a disaster unlike any we've ever seen. What happens next could completely alter everything you think you know about the Middle East. Stick around because what's coming will force you to rethink everything. Israel's confidence is crumbling. For months, they've been certain that the U.S. would strike Iran, tipping the scales in their favor. But now, as the situation grows more volatile, they're realizing something crucial. The window for military action may have already closed. In fact, Israel has privately urged the U.S. to hold off. Why? Because the Iranian regime is stronger than they anticipated, and America's delay could actually change everything. But here's the twist. It's not just Israel backing away. Arab officials are also expressing concern. For the first time, the region is questioning whether war with Iran is worth the devastation it would bring. What's happening behind the scenes, and why is everyone suddenly hesitant to pull the trigger? The answer is more complex and dangerous than anyone could have predicted. Scott Ritter isn't just talking about what might happen. He's telling us what's already in motion. He claims the Iranian missiles are far more advanced than the world realizes. We're not talking about crude, inaccurate weapons anymore. These missiles can target U.S. bases with pinpoint precision. And it's not just Israel who should be worried. The U.S. is sitting on a powder keg. Here's the kicker. When the Iranians say they can hit any target, they mean it. Just recently, they demonstrated their ability to strike critical infrastructure in Israel, hitting exact locations that no one thought possible. Imagine the panic in Israel's command centers as they realize this isn't a threat anymore. It's a reality. Notice what they didn't deny. Iran's technological leap is a game changer. And if the U.S. and Israel don't act soon, the consequences could be irreversible. The situation is spiraling faster than anyone expected. What was once a hypothetical conflict is quickly becoming a cold, hard reality. Israel's military infrastructure is at risk, and Iran is sending a message they can't ignore. In fact, this isn't the first time Iran has made clear just how deadly their arsenal is. Remember back to the Gulf War when the U.S. thought they had control, only to be blindsided by forces they underestimated. Now the tables have turned. The real shocker? Israel is on the verge of losing control of its most critical military assets. These missiles aren't just a statement, they're a strategic warning. Iran has the upper hand. And unlike past conflicts, Israel doesn't have the same advantage. The playing field has shifted, and Iran's focus is squarely on crushing any remaining power Israel holds. This isn't just about retaliation, it's about dominance. And just when things couldn't get worse, Ritter drops a bombshell. The situation is about to escalate even further. Israel's panic isn't just about Iran's missiles. It's about their entire strategy falling apart. The Israelis were hoping that the U.S. would intervene quickly, but now that Trump's administration has hesitated, the Iranians have already adapted. They're not playing by the old rules anymore. The Israeli government, which once seemed untouchable, now faces a reality it never planned for. With these new weapons, Iran can strike where it hurts the most. And it's not just about hitting military targets. It's about taking down Israel's entire infrastructure. Here's the twist. While Israel continues to act like it has time, Iran is preparing to unleash a devastating first strike. If Israel miscalculates, it could mean not just a loss, but a complete collapse. Now the pressure is mounting, and it's becoming clear. The clock is ticking, and there's no turning back. Israel and the U.S. have underestimated Iran's resolve and capabilities, and now they're facing a rapid chain reaction. In just a matter of days, everything could spiral out of control. First, there's the pressure from multiple fronts. Israel's political leadership is divided, and their military isn't as ready as they thought. At the same time, Iran is quickly mobilizing its forces, preparing for the possibility of total war, and then it gets worse. Israel is on the brink of losing control of its most vital energy infrastructure, which means not just military defeat, but an economic collapse. What happens if this continues? If Israel and the U.S. don't change their strategy, we could witness the unraveling of the Middle East. And the worst part, we may be powerless to stop it. But now, let's zoom out. This isn't just about military targets or political maneuvering. This is about real people living through the chaos. Imagine waking up to sirens, knowing that missiles could be headed your way at any moment. Ordinary citizens in both Israel and Iran are already feeling the weight of what's to come. But here's the kicker. It's the people who are caught in the middle of this war that will bear the true cost. This isn't just a game of geopolitical chess. It's about families, communities, and livelihoods being destroyed. And while politicians make decisions behind closed doors, the average person on the street is wondering how they'll survive the next wave of attacks. If this feels familiar, if you've ever felt like the powerless bystander in a bigger game, say so in the comments. Let's hear your thoughts. So how does something like this even happen? The truth is, it's not just about one bad decision or one rogue nation. It's about a system, a complex web of leverage, fear, and spectacle that enables this kind of disaster. Take a step back and think about it. For decades, the U.S. and Israel have operated under the assumption that they control the global narrative. But Iran has been quietly building its power, not just militarily, but economically and politically as well. And now those very systems of power are beginning to fracture. Iran has learned from every mistake, adapted to every challenge. The U.S., on the other hand, is stuck in a loop of failed strategies. Why? Because those in charge are playing the wrong game. It's not about military dominance anymore. It's about economic leverage, strategic positioning, and public perception. And right now, Iran holds a far stronger position than anyone is willing to admit. Now let's talk about what's coming next. There are two potential futures unfolding right now, and both are equally terrifying. On one side, you have a quick escalation, a direct military confrontation that leads to full-blown war, with missiles flying and countries being torn apart. It could be over in days, but the damage will be catastrophic. But then there's the other path, a slow-burning conflict, where the stakes only continue to rise over time. Iran continues to build its power, the U.S. and Israel remain on edge, and eventually the world reaches a tipping point. This could drag on for years, destabilizing entire regions, destroying economies, and causing an irreversible shift in global power. The scary part? The next move is already in motion. Whether it's a sudden strike or a prolonged battle of attrition, we're closer than ever to finding out which path we'll take. This isn't just another conflict. This is a turning point in history. The choices made in the coming weeks will determine the future of not just the Middle East, but the entire world. The stakes have never been higher, and yet the narrative is still being shaped behind closed doors. But here's the deep truth. What happens next will be driven by the decisions of just a few. Those in power are playing a dangerous game, and the rest of us are left to deal with the fallout. What's clear is that the consequences will be devastating, and we'll feel the impact for generations. This isn't just about Israel and Iran anymore. It's about the world we live in and the future we're building. If you want to understand how this story ends and what comes next, hit that follow button. The analysis is just getting started.